BB, how'd you sleep?
I got some sleep last night. Yeah, it was obviously a lot of emotion around the game with the result that penned it out, and probably more frustrated that we know we played the brand of footy that we wanted to play going into the game. We executed really well, vast majority of it, and as Nicky touched on last night, we weren't able to finish off our work, which was frustrating. And good sides keep themselves in it, and everyone knows that, I guess, the storyline of Collingwood and their ability to maximise close games. So that was some serious frustration around last night. But we will definitely look at our method and what we did really, really well for most of the game.
What moments do you replay?
It's a bit of, this is how good's this? This is what we do well. Contest method around the ball, the way that we challenged a really high quality outfit and gave ourselves some great opportunities. There's obviously missed opportunities in front of goal, which we've spoken about, and we know that they're costly to the end result. And in the last quarter too, our contest work and work around the ball in particular wasn't where we wanted to be, and good midfields like Collingwood are capitalised and put us on the back foot. And we played in our back half for a large portion of that fourth quarter, which didn't allow us to get the game on our terms.
So when you separate the emotion from the outcome, is it a win in terms of process and in terms of
absolutely,
where you're going?
Absolutely, 100%. It's a win in terms of process and where we're headed as a footy club. Because if you look at the vast majority of the game, it is big tick to what we wanted to go out and produce, and the method we wanted to play with. Unfortunately, we didn't execute and finish off our work. But for the vast majority, as I said, it was really pleasing.
Do you feel like as players went away from their playing on instinct in the fourth quarter? So?
No, it was the fourth quarter when you're under pressure and you're in your back half, like we were for, I'd say, the last 10 minutes at least. It was hard for us to get inside 50. I think we might have had 5 inside 50s for the quarter. You're under pressure, so it is really hard to get the game played the way we wanted to play. There were times where we were able to move the ball and find marks, but in that last quarter it was a challenge because we're deep inside our D50, under pressure. We tried to support the contest as best we could, but we weren't able to get that field position that would have allowed us to take some of the sting out of the game. So we'll have a good look at that today as coaches and with the players to see what we can learn moving forward, because there's a lot of learning out of this week as there was last week in close games.
You led for all but 20 seconds or something, but do you think in hindsight maybe you went into game saving mode just slightly early, bringing Dawson behind the ball and those sorts of
Yeah, we'll have a look at that today. Hindsight's a wonderful thing when the result doesn't go your way. But yeah, we have method with the way that we like to close out games. We're not always going to get that right, but we're going to work as hard as we possibly can to make sure that we give ourselves more chances than not to get it done. And we'll take some learnings out of the way Collingwood go about their business late in the game as well. They've got some method that stands up, and they support each other really well with that method, and it's proven that it gets them across the line. So we might be able to take a few things out of the way that they've closed out games so successfully for the last couple of years now.
How do you manage that Dawson's versatility? Obviously you love 3 or 4 of them, but as someone who looks after the midfield, when you say one of your better stoppage players then go behind the ball and you're losing stoppage, how do you balance that?
Yeah, that's part of the decision making that goes into, I guess, those big decisions with us as coaches. But look, one man moves out, another guy's got to come in and play his role for the team. So we'll have a good look at that today and see what we could have done better in and around the ball, and also could we have done things better behind the ball that would have given us the opportunity to play the game more on our terms.
I guess Trent McRae was a little bit maybe vocal a bit of the umpire, especially the decision when Murphy was coming off with a blunt nose and they were playing on with the doctors on the field. I mean, when that happened, did you have any thoughts on that in particular? Or?
I didn't have any recollection of exactly what was going on. There was lots of other things going on in the game, but what I do know is it's an incredibly hard job to umpire a game of footy. There's so much happening. I mean, take a step back for a second, but umpiring at training is one of the hardest things to do, and I get things wrong all the time out at training, or I get things right. Players think it's wrong. It's one of the hardest capers to do, so the mistakes will be made. We make mistakes as coaches, players make mistakes. No one's immune to it.
How's Lairdy? Against the Blues, he played something like 82%. I think last night it might have been around 75-ish. Was he cherry right?
It was good to go, yeah. Look, there was obviously a bit of talk about Lairdy going into the game. He had his fitness test and put his hand up to play, and he played well. He played what we needed from him in and around the ball, and showed that he was able to, I guess, to execute his role for us. So it was pleasing that he got through after probably an interrupted back end of the week for him.
Can you just explain the sub to us? Why Saligo was the man? Because there was a bit of conjecture as to Lairdy was the man that was subbed off at one point, which is clearly incorrect. Just the thought process
Yeah,
behind
look,
why Saligo and how that happened.
Yeah, okay. So as Nixie explained last night, we wanted to inject some fresh legs into the game with obviously Harry inside mid sitting on the bench for us. So Jake had some high minutes for the game, highest minutes we'd had. So it was a matter of could we inject some speed and run into the game. And unfortunately, in that last quarter, as we've already touched on, the game is now back half, so it wasn't about, or didn't pan out in the way we wanted to try and get some run and challenge Collingwood in that way. So we'll have a good look and see, I guess, how that method occurred in the last.
So Saligo was just gassed rather than injured or anything like that?
Yeah, he should be fine. Yeah, he's fine. As far as I know, he's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Is that Taylor okay? He was in a moon boot in the...
Yeah, I only saw him briefly yesterday. Yeah, some form of foot injury. Severity of it, I'm not sure yet, so we'll have a good look today. And yeah, I think the moon boot will be precautionary early until we get a more formal diagnosis on it.
How do you get yourself up for the Cats? It's obviously, as you would know,
Yep.
very, very difficult to win. And you sort of think last night, if you pinch that, you go down to Geelong with a bit of a free hit, you won ahead of the ledger. What do you sort of tell the guys to get themselves up?
Yeah, look, it's obviously only, 15, 20 hours since the game, so there's still a bit of emotion around the result. But make no mistake, by the time we leave the club today, after reviewing the game this afternoon, our sights will be set on a huge challenge ahead this week for us. But what our boys need to understand, and what I'm sure our fans can appreciate at the moment, is we're playing a really solid brand of footy that is challenging the best sides in the comp. We did it to Collingwood last night and should have got the job done. So there's no reason why we can't take our form and our confidence and belief down to GMHBA this week and challenge arguably one of the better sides in the comp as well, last year's premiers. So huge challenge for us, and yeah, we'll get ourselves up for it.
I was just going to say, you're the second worst set shot team in the comp statistically at the moment. A bit like free throws in basketball, but do you have any inkling as to how to tap into that? Sort of, is it a mental battle in converting in those moments? There's
obviously a component that comes into it when there's one missed shot into two, into three, into four. There's a pressure that comes with that as a player, players need to be able to embrace that and make sure the next shot counts. But we, as I heard Nixie say last night, we do more than enough goal kicking practice. We've got some really talented kicks at goal. Everyone's got a set shot routine, so we're doing everything right in that space. It's unfortunate when games happen like last night where it leads to, or potentially is a reason why we don't get the job done in the end.
What was Nixie was sort of scratching his head, and if you had any hair left, he'd pull it out. Yours was obviously hanging around. But what was the mood like when just the repeat misses? Was there a sense of tension? How was the box when it just weren't going through?
Yeah, look, there's obviously frustration from everyone. I'm sure our fans feel it when we're not finishing off our work. But I guess what we're able to remind ourselves of in the box in particular was that our method was what was creating those chances, and it was, we're hoping that the dam wall would eventually break and would open them up and be able to get reward for effort, which we did get at times, but it was probably now looking back on those chances that we missed and what could we do better next time. So we'll learn from it, and we'll keep playing with that method because it's putting us in good positions.